Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from. Thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome. We've got all sorts of stuff to chat about today, I guess, as usual. Good to see where everybody is joining from. The weather here in Portland this last couple days has been a little bit on the warm side. It is supposed to get up to, what was it, 95 today, which is like 35 Celsius. Not looking forward to that, but thankfully I do have air conditioning in here, so that is nice. Good to see everybody here. Looks like a lot of familiar faces and some new people as well. Always nice to see. Turning Point Communications says hello from Linford, Hampshire. Been a few since been able to listen live, but nearly always be able to catch up. Thanks for watching the replays. Okay, so the hopefully the sound today is good. I did a whole thing after last week. I realized that one of the problems I had, I can't even remember what happened anymore, but there was some sort of confusion that happened during the last live stream, and it was because I was in the middle of reconfiguring my audio to run everything through the Behringer X32 over Maddie, and I had got halfway through that and forgot that I hadn't finished that project. So I spent some time actually replugging some of my SDI cables, because the way that the Maddie works is it can only take a chunk of the SDI audio into the mixer, because there's not enough channels in the mixer for all 40 inputs. That would be 80 channels, and it's a 32 channel mixer, so I can only take 32 of the 80 channels into the mixer. So I had to choose carefully what ports they were in. But I've got now, I've got them labeled, and I have a couple of blank ones still, but you can see that, like, I've got my computer audio coming in through here. What this is these are inputs on the ATEM itself. So if you look at the ATEM, like, what's the best way to do this? So here's my computer, here's the Apple TV, here's the HyperDeck, here's the Bird Dog and the Majorel. And now those are all in, slots like 5 through 9, because I wanted those pieces, I want to be able to get that audio into the mixer. So now I can actually go and mix audio from the computer, from the Apple TV, from the HyperDeck if I play back video clips. Main reason I wanted to do that was so that I can actually route it into the speakers in my room without routing my microphone into the speakers. So I'm not actually using the main mix anymore. I'm using the monitor bus or sending it back to Maddie. So that is, these are off, right? So you're only hearing this microphone. And whatever I've got in this mix now goes back into the ATEM for the stream. So it's this weird, like, pulling them in and pushing it back. But then I can make a separate mix for the room. So if I did want to hear my microphone in the room, I could turn it up and then get echo and feedback. Or more, what I'll actually be doing is using audio from, like, the computer, so that I can hear what my computer is doing at a low volume, or play back a video clip, or if I'm streaming something from somewhere else and I want to hear it, from the Majorel, I can bring that into the room speakers. So I've got some free ones up here still, as you can see, but it was a lot of figuring out the routing. This is my, it's so confusing. There's like 3 steps to it. You have to choose what you want the card to do. Because you got these groups of 8 channels. This is like getting way too. Don't worry about it. But you have to choose what you want the 8 groups of 8 channels to do, and I've got everything but the first group of 8 is just matching, and then you can configure what you want the input channels to do, and then there's this user mapping where you can remap even one more layer deep. But I think I finally got it to work. So anyway, I don't know if I quite understand it enough to do a tutorial about it, but I got it to work. Yes, it has gotten so much more complex. I used to just run a microphone into the camera, and that goes into the ATEM, and that was it. But no, what I want to, because the reason that I wanted to do this is so that if I am playing back a video on the HyperDeck, I can hear it in the room, and I don't have to put on the headphones, and I can make a different mix for the room. So that was kind of what kicked off the whole thing. Looks like everybody says the audio is good. Good to hear. Okay. And hopefully if I go over to the table, which I don't know if we have anything to show over there, but if I do that today, hopefully that microphone is more balanced now because I also fixed that issue. So, okay. Okay. Maddie is not something you want to stop in the middle of doing, that's for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I had gotten halfway. Daniel says you need to upgrade the firmware to be able to fine tune the routing. I think I just did. I think I am on the latest firmware now. I remember doing that not long ago. I'm on version 4.09, which I'm pretty sure is the current one. If that's not, then let me know. Cool. Okay. Professor Dr. Olaf Gearhakis says, any tips about direct streaming from the ATEM Mini Extreme to LinkedIn? I don't know if there's anything notable about that. Let's find out. LinkedIn RTMP streaming. First of all, does it accept RTMP streaming? Because that would be the first thing to look for. Otherwise, we're going to have to go through some hoops. It looks like sort of. This feature is only available to members who meet the access criteria. Okay. Oh. If you have access to LinkedIn Live. Anybody can join as viewers. There's no applications to request. Oh. So they might give you access to this. And you can't request it otherwise. Cool. That's always nice. But assuming you do have access to this, let's see, is there anything notable? We support RTMP and RTMP-S. Good. Either way, to go live now, create a post, blah, 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 get URL and stream key. This might mean that you don't get a stable stream key. Sometimes platforms do this, so you might have to make sure you drop it into the ATEM every time. Anything else? It looks pretty straightforward. It looks like you'll get a URL and the stream key. So, I don't know if I have anything else notable here. Yeah, wired connection. I'm looking for like things like, do they recommend certain bit rates? I don't see anything about that, but that would be one other thing I would look for is if they have a recommended bit rate, because then you can set that in your ATEM and not just stream whatever. But it looks like it's pretty straightforward, assuming you get access to it. And yeah, I've never done it. I don't have access to it because apparently I'm not fancy enough for them. So, oh well. On Location says hi from Trinidad and Tobago. Good to see you. Aha, somebody noticed. IT never gets old. Is the microphone badge you're wearing the LCD one? No. Okay, so I'm glad you noticed. This is actually a Rode Wireless Go. And this is something that we are launching today. So let me drop the link in the chat for you. That should drop it into the chat. So this is, this one. Let's see if my focus is going to find it. There it goes. This is a Rode Wireless Go. You can see because it says Wireless Go 2 on the side. But it is a vinyl sticker that gets applied over the top with your own artwork. And I've also got House Files version over here. So, yeah, the link is in the chat now, hopefully. Hopefully that worked. No, it's not. We'll fix that. And that is something we are launching today. There, it's in the chat now. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. It is, I don't have the sticker off of the Rode, but if you look at the Rode mic without your sticker on it, it's got this really large Rode branding on it. But what's even worse is the new one, the Rode Wireless Me. I don't know why they did this, but if you look at the new one, it's even bigger. And when I saw that, I was like, we should cover this up. that's too much. I don't want to be wearing a giant 0 if I'm wearing their mic with that side out. So they are the same like size. This one has just a little bit of a curve you can see, so the sticker is meant to, it'll fit like on the flat part. And then you don't have to advertise RØDE when you're wearing the mic. So this page that I just dropped in the chat, it has this template, Photoshop template, that you can download, and it has these little lines. So if I don't know if anybody has done this kind of work before, but the you need to, if you want to print on the right to the edge, you have to actually upload artwork that is wider than that. So you have to, come on, focus. There it goes. This is not a fast lens. That's, come on. Come on. Oh my gosh. The lens on these cameras, this is like the stock mic, or stock lens for the Lumix, and it's not good. Okay, there we go. So if you want to print right to the edge, you have to upload artwork that goes past it. And I lost it again. My focus point must not be in the middle. That's probably the problem. And to do, so there's a template, which is, template is in Photoshop templates in that link, and then you can see where the cut lines are. So you just have to upload art that's that big. It'll show you the cutout for the screen. It's got a little template for that. That's on like an upper layer, so you can insert your artwork in the middle. If you are using the wireless Mini, don't worry about this template because they cover everything. You can upload either or both, and then you'll see it down here on the little tool. Yeah, very cool. So hopefully you will enjoy that. It's not the lens, it's the camera. Well, it's both. I can actually hear this lens thinking as it's doing the autofocus, and some of the other ones are much better at it and they're faster. But yes, this is the BGH1, which is not known for its good autofocus. S5, the new S5 II is much better, way good. It's really good. Yeah, this is just for decoration right now. I'm not running the sound through this right now. Not a lot of reason to do that when I'm just sitting at the desk. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I think, let me show you how it actually comes. It actually comes in this little case. So you can pop that open. Oh, that one's tight. There we go. And you actually get 6 stickers. So you'll get 2 of the ones with the cutout. So you can't really tell, but come on. I did set the autofocus right in the middle. There it goes. So you can kind of see there's a little line cut out for the screen, and you get 2 of those, and then you get 4 of the regular ones. And yeah, if you have the receiver, the reason we give you extras is because we're assuming someone's going to make a mistake when you apply it the first time, and they're not like removable, but they do come off, which is how I've been able to swap them back and forth. But they're not they're not meant to be like taken on and off all the time. So you can like damage it if you are taking them on and off all the time. So that's why we give you a couple extras in case you wanted to do that. The autofocus sees the keyboard and wants to focus on it. Yeah, so I just opened up my camera control. So check this out. the focus point is slightly off center. This is what this little box is, and maybe I should change this to a different focus mode. Let's see if it does better when it's in this mode, because then I maybe don't have to get it so exact. Nope. No, that's worse. Wow. Okay. It really wants to focus on the. There we go. I have to cover up a lot of the keyboard to make that one work. So that's probably why I had it in one spot mode. But let's move that back to the middle. And now, as long as I get it there, it'll find it. That's just not on my screen, obviously, because I don't want you to see the little box. IT Never Gets Old has a good question. Can you use Companion to set up better fix focusing on the overhead? I don't think so. Because the camera really only likes to be connected to like one controller at a time. And I usually do have the desktop app open for the cameras. If I didn't, there is a button that I could use for this, which is the one-shot autofocus, which is, I don't know how much that would actually help because you still have to have it in the same spot. But if I turn this focus to manual, you'll see what I mean. Now, it's never going to focus on this because it's manual focus. But if I have this in this spot and then I push this button, it'll grab that pretty quickly, actually. And now it won't go back because now it's fixed to this spot. So this is what I use when I'm like filming stuff usually, because I don't want it to be pulsing as I'm moving things around. But for live, it kind of makes more sense to just leave it in auto. So yeah, okay, we are going to get rid of that. Nils says, have you dusted off your fancy printer or only for prototyping? So this is actually from the printers at the NX3D shops. So they are the ones printing these and printing the little cases. So they have this is actually a little 3D printed case that they made. So that's what it comes in. And oh yeah, I should also mention this. It comes with a little alcohol wipe. And that is to clean off the microphone before you apply the sticker, because if you have any little dust specks under this, it'll make a little lump, right? Because it'll be over top of the dust. So comes with an alcohol wipe, clean off the mic first, put the sticker on, and then don't take it on and off all the time because it's not meant for that. But I did do that for all the photos I took. Joey says, how do you display specific questions on the screen? I actually have a video about that. Let me go find that really quick because I have a video that I've actually created about that. But basically it's a browser plugin. So how I show chat. Oops. On the stream. There we go. So that is in the chat. I should probably make a little shortcut for that one since I need to drop that in all the time. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. And you can try that with your streams as well. It's kind of fun. You can customize the colors and stuff too. Which ATEMs can display multiple sources at the same time? Oh, good question. There's a couple of different things that go into this. So there's three ways that ATEMs can display multiple video sources. So let me go grab my ATEM SDI. So this is the four input ATEM SDI, the ATEM Mini Pro and the Pro ISO and the SDI ISO. They all work the same way. They all have the same features, with one exception. The SDI has 2 outputs. HDMI only has 1. But other than that, it's the same. The ways that you can have multiple videos on top of each other are either using upstream keys, which is this one, or downstream keys, which is this one, or in the extreme version, the feature is called Super Source, which is what makes this layout. But do I have this in a way where I can easily show? Do I have this button? I feel like I have a button for this. If I don't, I need to make one. I don't. Because what I want is I want to show you the output of this ATEM so that you can see as I'm fiddling with it. How do I not have a preset for that? Time for a little tangent into Companion. Wow, did I set the chat to not be subscribers only today? All right, let's go fix that. Nope, they're just getting more adventures and actually subscribing to me first. I have this set to you have to be subscribed to the channel for a minute, which usually keeps the spam away because people aren't interested in waiting a full minute before they spam. Apparently it's not working today. Let's up that to 5 minutes. And there we go. Now you'll probably tell you that in the chat. It's not a plot for me to get you to subscribe sneakily, although thank you for subscribing. It just helps keep the spammers away. So anyway, we need to do a little tangent and make this little button. So let me explain what I want to do. I want to give a way for you to see my computer screen as well as the output of this ATEM, which is sitting on the back shelf over there. It's the one that's it's right there. So I want you to see the output of that. That way I can show you stuff of what it's doing. I could have sworn I had made this button already, but I don't see it. So we're going to have to go and do that. To do that, I'm going to go and show you my companion config, which is, this is what I normally use to run the show, switching all to the different cameras. These adjust my super source layout so I can show you this computer or like the iPad or, oh, this one's actually close. This one will show you my computer screen as well as the Magewell, which is a device I use for receiving RTMP streams. So I'm going to copy it as a starting point, but we're going to call this ATEM SDI. The reason I'm copying it is because it's got a bunch of the super source layouts pretty close to how I want it already. So if I click it, it'll change. Let's see, I have the wrong camera. So camera 2 should be that. There I am. Camera, or box 1 is the computer, so that's my screen. That's fine. Box 3 is off and 4 is off. So, okay, that's apparently not actually what that button does at all right now. Great. Let's get rid of that and make a new one here. This is change box properties. There we go. So I'm going to get box 3 set up the way I want it to be by actually editing my super source. Let's do that first. Super source 1, box 3 is enabled. There it is. Oh, my HyperDeck is playing my little video loop. I actually want that to be the ATEM SDI, which is that box, and oh, it's got a red background, so it blends in with my other red background. Let's deal with that later. Box 2 is my desk camera, so we're going to move this out of the way. And then let's see, do you think I should shrink my computer screen, or is it too big? Yeah, I need to get out mix effect. This is getting too annoying. The problem with the Blackmagic software control is that it's like really frustrating to deal with these little things. So it is time to grab mix effect, and that is this which gives me a much nicer way to edit these layouts. Okay, super source, and we're going to unlock, and now I can actually see the framing of it, for example. So let's take the computer and shrink it a little bit. So that's going to be like that. Now you can't see what's going on, but I can see it. I'm going to move it over. Okay, and then I'm going to take box 2, which is my camera. We're going to scoot it a little. Oops, that's the crop. We're going to move it over. We're going to take box 3. Make it a little bigger. And a little bit. Okay, so now this is what it looks like. And I can output, let's see. Let's just send my computer screen to that ATEM also, and then I can get that positioned right. Oh, there's a crop on this. Don't want to crop that picture, so we need to shrink it a little bit. We're getting there. Okay. This looks about right. I should go a little bit more over there. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now I can go and save this. So if I go back to here and say learn box 3, learn box 2, and learn box 1. Now I can go quickly between that layout and that layout. So what I actually wanted to do was show you the other ATEM. So we're going to go back to, what am I going to send there? I'm going to send my camera there. I'm going to send my computer screen. I'm going to send the Apple TV and the overhead camera. Okay, unroll. Back to the demo of the ATEM SDI. Output is multi-view. So this is now what you're seeing. What you're seeing is the output of the ATEM SDI. So I can show you different ways to put multiple things on the screen. So we've got in the top right corner is the program feed. And if I do the on air, you've got a picture-in-picture, right? So this is just like a basic picture-in-picture using the upstream key feature. Not terribly interesting to show the same camera in the picture-in-picture and the main video feed. So you would probably do something like this, showing a different camera. You can change the size, you can change the position, things like that. In the ATEM Mini series, you get one of these. You get one upstream key. So you can choose one thing to shrink or make bigger and move around. The other thing that the ATEM Mini can do is downstream key, which is, it doesn't give you the option of resizing. So it only lets you slap things over the top. So I can take, for example, a picture in Media Player 1, and I can use that as a downstream key. What's that going to do? Nothing terribly interesting because it's not pre-multiplied, but if you do this, you can make it so that, wait, clip. No. So this is not a good image to use as a downstream key. Let's see if I have a better image in the media pool. This one will work better. Okay, so this is if I don't say it's pre-multiplied, then I just adjust the clip until the black is transparent, and now you see it's like slapped the logo on top of everything, right? And there's no option to resize in the downstream key, but you can crop it. So if you do want to crop from the top, like you can crop the image, you just can't resize it. The other option, which is only available in the ATEM Mini Extreme and the rack mount ones, is called Super Source. And the Super Source is what I used, what you just saw basically, which is what lets me create this kind of layout. So Super Source, I get 4 boxes and I can choose 4 different cameras to go into them and artwork in the background. So that's what's making this layout of me and my computer screen and the ATEM. And this software control is a little bit hard to use, but makes it a little bit easier to do on an iPad. So those are the 3 different ways that you can get images into, or picture-in-picture. Roland seems a lot easier. It depends. One of the reasons, though, that I like the ATEM is because it's easy to automate this way. So I've never used a Roland switcher that has network control. I don't know if there's some models that have it, but the ones that I've used are the smaller ones, and they don't have a network control. So yeah, automating it is harder, but it's probably a lot easier to use the actual physical buttons on the Roland. But I think ATEM does more, and automating is easier. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of ATEM, Raul has an excellent reminder. Blackmagic ATEM ISO switchers are 20% off right now. Yeah, this is really interesting and very good news while we're talking about ATEMs. The ISO models. So the Mini ISO, Extreme ISO, and SDI ISOs, and this one are actually 20% off right now. The I don't know why it's not showing me on their website. If I click into it, does it show me? Unless it's already ended. It was a surprise sale, and 20% off of them is a good deal. Let's see if B&H is still doing it. Yeah, B&H is still doing it. So ATEM Mini Pro ISO is $100 off, but if you go up to the HD8 ISO, it's like $800 off, which is wild. So if you're thinking about getting the ISO model, this is a good time, because I don't think they're gonna drop the price permanently, and that's a good discount. Any thoughts as to why they're discounting the ISOs? No, I don't know. They don't do it very often, and they don't do this kind of discount very often. So it's interesting. I don't think that they are like about to launch a new version, just because they've already launched a lot of new versions of ATEMs already, and I don't think there's any reason for them to upgrade the Mini line at this point. But I don't know. Graham says, I'm so tempted to try to convince my boss to switch our entire system to SDI. Not much chance, though. It's I don't regret switching my studio over to SDI, and especially now with the ATEM Mini SDI, I don't need a lot of converters anymore. So my cameras are all SDI. The ATEM Mini ISO, which is that one up on the top there, I use that for ISO recording, 4 channels out of the big Constellation, and it's just SDI cables directly into there, and it's great. Oh, Clear Life Media says, still waiting for an ATEM that has both HDMI and SDI. Yeah, that is, we all are. Yeah, it's I just realized I forgot to put this back on. The old ATEM Television Studio HD, which they don't have on the website anymore, had 4 HDMI and 4 SDI, and it was that's what I used for a lot of the conferences I was doing a couple of years ago, and it was great because I would have SDI cameras coming in for the long runs, but then I would have like an iPad and a laptop next to me where I don't want to have to run through an SDI converter. So having HDMI for that was great. I think that would be. I really think they should bring it back. Frankly, I think that. Actually, Doug Johnson did a good video about this the other day. These new ATEMs with 8 inputs, I kind of feel like they didn't quite get this right. What they need a few more inputs, because 8 is just like not enough, and it's not enough for a lot of things. And in Doug's video, he actually goes through a whole bunch of different scenarios about how he would fill up 8 inputs for just common situations that you would use something like this in. And I totally agree. Even just 4 more, like a 12 input, would solve so many things. Because 8 cameras is a lot, but 8 cameras is a lot, but it's not just cameras. You want to have the slides from the presenter. You want to have your graphics, which if you're doing graphics with good transparency with key fill, then that takes 2 inputs right there. So if you have 8 inputs and you're using 2 for graphics, 1 for a computer, now you've got 5 cameras, and that's like not that many cameras for like for a conference or a big stage. So yeah, I would have loved to see. And this is just like it's just very expensive. For ATEM Mini Extreme, I think that's actually fine to have 8 because this is a much smaller device, much more affordable. At $12.95 for the HDMI version, that's very affordable for what this is. But once you're spending $3,000 or $4,000, it just doesn't make sense to me why it's still only 8. Like, I want to see 12, and I also want a bunch of outputs. Yeah, MJ says need more outs for things that are not inputs. I think you need more outputs also for things, because at the minimum you're going to want your output for like running into your streaming encoder if you're not actually streaming from this, or if you're trying to stream a backup. And then you might want to also feed a projector. Maybe you also want to feed a confidence monitor, which is not the same thing that's on the projector. Sometimes you want to have the presenter's laptop screen on their confidence monitor before it's on the projector usually. And that's already 3, which is now more than this has. So I don't quite, I would love to see a 12 input version of this with also like 4 outputs. So yeah, interesting. Circuit Baker says the 4K version has more outputs. Yeah, what does this one have? The 4K 8. Oh, right. Does actually give you 10 aux outs. This one does not, though, right? This one's just, 2 aux outs. And then it gives you the, if I remember right, it gives you the outputs, like for the cameras, for the 8 SDI cameras, gives you the 8 program outs, but not with like the mix minus audio or whatever for sending back to the camera operator. But aux outs is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yep. And the outputs are not assignable on the HG8s. Right, yeah. They're not actual aux. Philip says, even the old 1ME Production Studio 4K had 10 inputs, including 1 HDMI. That makes more sense. I agree, 10 to 12 input switcher with a mix of HDMI and SDI, and at least 3 to 4 aux would be awesome. And that, I feel like, would be worth paying $4,000 for. So, yeah. MJ says, need 6 in for cams, 2 for key fill, 2 for playback, 2 for graphics. Yeah, there we go. That's already a lot, right? So, yeah. Good question. Just got the ATEM Mini. How do I use my old Android for its camera? Samsung S7 What's no HML? Is that the model number or webcam to HDMI? So, funny that you mentioned this. I literally just recorded a video about this. I don't have a good list of apps for Android. But there is one app that I know of. Maybe somebody else can chime in. What you need to do is you need to find a app that can output a clean feed over the HDMI port. And the only one that I know of for sure for Android is called Filmic Pro, which is that link. And this does a whole bunch of things, one of which is it can actually output just the video feed over HDMI. This is a bit overkill for if that's all you want to do. So hopefully there's somebody who does an Android app that can do that without having to go full on here, because it's also not a cheap app. On iPhone, there's a couple different options. One is called Shoot and the other is called Overviewer. And both of those are much simpler apps, which is nice. And I don't know of any Android apps. I don't use Android phones, but I don't know of anything else for that. So chime in if you know. Basically, you need to find an app that can take the camera and just output it over HDMI. Christopher says don't support Filmic. Is this about how they like totally messed up their upgrade situation? Because I actually bought the last version of Filmic Pro, and then they like updated the app, but then called it like Filmic 8 and wanted me to pay for it again as like an in-app purchase. And now in order to use the one that I bought, I have to download like an old version of it. It was weird. I was not super happy about that. On Location Live TV says there seems to be an issue with the HDMI chips. Support informed me that they no longer offer repairs on the old HD models as the HDMI output chips have supply issues. That's a bummer. Yeah. Neil says the S7 was a great phone, but it's only got micro USB. Oh, there's not even an HDMI on it. Oh, gosh. Okay. I don't know if you're able to use an adapter. Yeah, because on the iPhone, you can get the Lightning to HDMI dongles easily, and they work on, like, as far as I know, every iPhone. But if you only have micro USB, then yeah, I wouldn't assume that an adapter would work. So that might not be an option. Saul is making a good point. Maybe NDI can be used, which is the other way to do it. But I don't know how powerful that phone is, and it'll definitely need a good network connection to make NDI work. But that one can work. So what I will say, I literally just filmed a whole video about this. So check it out when it comes out, probably next week, possibly the week after. But I also have another video I did recently about same idea, but it's for the Yolobox. But basically, it's the same concept. So there, I'll drop this link in the chat. iPhone as wireless camera with the Yolobox. Even though this video talks about the Yolobox, the most of the concepts apply, because at the end of the day, most of what these are doing is giving you an HDMI port from the iPhone's video. There's a couple different ways to do it. This one goes through the options that are mostly the same when you're talking about an ATEM. NDI being one, an app that does clean HDMI out of an HDMI port, or on iPhone, you can do screen mirroring. And I think Android can do the same. But, oh, yes, Christopher is coming in with the info. Google wanted to force people into using Google Cast, but that's limited to 720. I didn't even think about that. I just assumed it was full resolution. That's no good. Yeah. Oh, about Filmic, yes, bad business. The legacy version is okay. Yeah, that was kind of annoying. Okay, let me scroll back through. I was missing some chats before. Create to relay must be a ghost. Oh, did I miss a question from you? Yes, sorry. Here it is. This is from a while ago. Sorry about that. I want to start having remote guests on my live streams, but I want a platform to bring them in clean sources and send to the ATEM, not like Zoom with the names and interface. Any recommendations? Yeah, this is a whole thing. This is a whole can of worms here. The easiest option, which is probably not what you want to hear, is to use StreamYard because it just works and you don't have to really think about anything. The downside is that StreamYard runs the entire stream and you don't get a lot of options for layouts, but it is easy for you, the host, and it's easy for the guest. So that's one. There's a new feature in Zoom where they allow people to build integrations into Zoom so that you can actually get clean video feeds out of your Zoom meetings. The one that I did, the one that I did a video about at NEB, or an interview about at NEB, is called Epiphan Cloud. And the way this works is once you sign up for Epiphan Cloud, then it can join your Zoom meeting. Here, yeah, it's in their little header. Oh, this is a better link. Connect for Zoom. It joins your meeting, and then you get SRT feeds out. So this is what you can do. And these people are in a Zoom meeting, right? So the nice thing is for the guest, it's just Zoom, but then you can pull out SRT feeds. In order to get SRT into your ATEM, you need a converter, so there's more stuff to buy there, but this is a good option. I'm really excited about this just because of how easy it will end up being, but it's definitely more moving parts. Restream also has a Restream Studio that works like StreamYard, has a few more layout options. Yeah, that's a good point. But same concept applies where it is running your stream. You don't have the option of like mixing it with your local stream. Christopher says, every StreamYard video I've ever seen always has massive audio sync issues, like a second or more off at best. That is weird. I have had good luck with StreamYard doing streams, but I will say it is super dependent on the computer. And if your computer is not powerful enough, you will definitely see those sync issues. Also, it's using a webcam, so some people might have issues with their webcam setup, which are introducing those audio delays, but I haven't seen any issues with the StreamYard platform itself in terms of that. Zoom can also do NDI out, but I think it needs an enterprise license. Oh yeah, that's with Zoom ISO, which is now part of Zoom. The other option that's free that is definitely workable, but is definitely workable, is video.ninja. And this is basically a, this is definitely not as user-friendly, but it works. You make a room, you send links to your guests, they join, and then you get, let me see if I can, yeah, so scenes is what they call it. So once a guest joins, you can either capture, you get a link like this that's for the one guest, or you can grab a scene and then add guests to the scene. And then that is a web page that you can pull into a computer or OBS or other things. So that's a good way to do it as well. And close that before somebody joins the link. Oh yeah, Bruce, good timing. That was funny. I said it right when I dropped the link in. Thor says Zoom ISO and a Mac Mini with Blackmagic external card works great with an ATEM. Yeah, I think that's a good option. I haven't finished setting that up myself, so I don't have a ton of experience with that. But and I don't have the DeckLink external card. I only have the I think you would want to use the deck link for that, which gives you multiple HDMI or SDI outs, as opposed to the what I'm using is the Ultra Studio, which is the rack mount version, but it only has like the key fill SDI outs. Is Epiphan costly? Connect costly? How does it compare with the cost of Zoom ISO? I don't know about how the cost compares, actually. Epiphan Connect is definitely meant for like if you're mixing your show entirely with like software switchers, because SRT, it can pull in SRT feeds easily. Using it with an ATEM does mean you need to convert that SRT into HDMI or SDI, which is an extra step. But I still think it's going to be a good option. So yeah, there you go. A couple different options for you to look at. It's a whole big topic, but hopefully I'll get you off in the right direction. And sorry, I missed the question earlier. Michael says, OBSBot Tiny 2 versus Insta360 webcams for Yolobox Pro. I have tried the Insta360 on the Yolobox, so I do know that works. And at NAB, they had the OBSBot Tiny plugged into... Oh, no. They had the HDMI one plugged into the Yolobox. I don't know if the OBSBot Tiny 2 works with the Yolobox. I would assume it will, because the original OBSBot does also. I think they're probably both good options, and because they both do gesture control. One of the downsides of plugging these 360 cameras into the Yolobox is that the Yolobox doesn't have software to control them, so you can only control them with the gestures or if they have a remote. And I don't know when it'll be available. Is it better than the Insta360? It was hard to tell. It was hard to compare the picture quality there because the lighting conditions are so weird in those booths. I don't know how the picture quality compares. But the OBSBot HDMI is, the nice thing about that is it's HDMI out. The Insta360 Link is just a webcam. So they're kind of for different things. Christopher has more suggestions. Ecamm guests or vMix for Windows. I don't know. I don't use vMix, but it does have the guest feature, and Ecamm also. I would say those are more like StreamYard, where you have to run the entire show in it, but it is then pretty easy to use. So also good options for sure. The Epiphan staff will help you. They are very fast and demo the complete system. I tried and love it. Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. They're very nice people. I like them. Oh, good question. Are the Constellations still having frame drop issues with SuperSource? So they just pushed out an update for the Constellation 4, which is the one I'm using. And this is a SuperSource with the Constellation 4. And it was having a problem where there would be like frame skips or like weird blocks in just one of the boxes in SuperSource. That firmware update does seem to have fixed it. It was specifically an update for the 4ME, and I have not seen that problem again. So that, let me know, like when you've been looking at this SuperSource light, let me know if you've seen any problems, but I haven't seen them out of the corner of my eyes. I've been watching. It does seem to have solved it, which is nice. What else do I... Let me scroll back to see if I missed anything. Oh, good point. Clear Life Media, which says we use Tyler Live for graphics NDI into Wirecast, and it avoids us having to do inputs into the switcher. What switcher are you using with Wirecast? That's interesting. Because Wirecast, I thought it was a switcher. I remember using it ages ago. Probably like 2013, I want to say. And I was not super impressed because I was using it on a laptop with like 2 webcams connected to it, and then that was too much USB bandwidth, and they were all laggy. But probably with proper hardware, it worked better. Oh, I missed this one from Christopher. Has Instagram streaming opened up, or is it still officially restricted to their garbage app? They're in the middle of it, so they have committed to launching RTMP streaming, but they've only given some people access to it right now. I did a demo with Rocky Nash because she has access to it, and if you search for, I'll just find this link really quick. Yeah, here we go. Oh my God, it's 5 months ago. That was, here's the video if you want to take a look at how it works. But we did a live demo of it and showed configuring it and stuff like that. So it is officially coming. I don't know any time frame. I don't know what the timing is like for it. But soon, hopefully soon, they will allow RTMP streaming in. Clearlife Media says, we send a signal from the ATEM into it. So switch with the ATEM, but use Wirecaster streaming. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. That's a good way to do it, because then you don't have all of the cameras in the computer. You're only burdening the computer with one camera. That makes sense. And then, yeah, that makes sense. Then you pull the graphics in at the Wirecast layer and not in the ATEM. Good combo. Good combo. Oh, Delmix Edit says, I have access. It's really awesome. Oh, good. Did you have to do anything to get access, or did they just give it to you? Because I haven't even found like a application form. Philip says, does the new OBSBot HDMI camera offer both USB webcam out and HDMI out, or can it only do one or the other? They are different cameras. So the OBSBot HDMI, unless I'm remembering wrong, I'm pretty sure the OBSBot HDMI does not have USB. And then the OBSBot, the Tiny 2, is just the USB. So they're like just two totally different things. The HDMI version is actually a lot bigger too. Michael says, thank you for your answers. Are you working on Yolobox Mini options like you have for the Pro? I don't think I understand the question. Wait, was this about the wireless camera? I don't know. I don't know what that is. The Mini and the Pro are almost the same, except for just the number of inputs, but they can do almost all the same things. So there's not a lot of things you need to worry about differently compared to them. It's just that with the Mini, you get one HDMI and one USB, but the Pro gives you 3 HDMI and 1 USB. Oh, Delmix says, I checked after your video months ago and I had it, probably because I post 4 to 5 times a day, so I'm a power user. Oh, that's cool. There you go. That's hilarious. Yeah, I keep checking every now and then, and I do not have it. But that is probably because I don't post very often, which is probably bad for other reasons. I did just post today, though. I actually scheduled a post, look at me being all fancy, scheduled a post about the mic flag. So go give that a thumbs up. And I'll drop my Instagram in the chat. It's just aaronpk.tv. Oh, I have a little thing for it. There it is. Schedule that post to come out at 10 on the dot. That's kind of fun. Okay, let's see if from earlier about the Chromecast. I tried using my phone with Chromecast too, but only played audio and no video. Oh, that's weird. Nil says the S7 seems powerful enough. You can hook up Ethernet to it via USB. Okay. Well, hopefully you can make it work for something. Is Michael possibly referring to the PK1 stands? Possibly. So we have for the Yolobox, we have a cage for the Pro, a stand for the Pro, and the stand also for the Mini. We don't have a cage for the Mini. Probably not going to make one. Just because doesn't seem to be a lot of people who have bought the Yolobox Mini, just based on number of stands we've sold. But yeah, probably not going to make a cage for the Mini. If it is something you're interested in, let me know. But right now, that's not a priority. We're working on other things. But the cage for the Yolobox is fun. I do like this one. A silly YouTube face on that picture. You are talking about the PK1 cage. Well, thanks. Yeah. No plans right now, sorry. Bill says, does the new Decklink IP cards, which do 2110, signal a move by Blackmagic to support this? And if so, will be included in existing kit via firmware? Ooh, that's a tough question. I doubt that they can do firmware updates to add 2110 to existing hardware. But I do think that it is a signal that they're going to support more things with 2110. And also that they're not going to do NDI ever, which I was already pretty confident about. But I'm pretty sure this is like a very clear sign. I have another video I want to do one of these days. I'm getting really close to doing it. I started collecting my thoughts about it already, but how NDI is not actually free or royalty free, even though they say it is everywhere. It's very, very misleading, I feel like. And I need to do an edited video about it so I can properly write down my thoughts and not just rant about it on a live stream incoherently. But I'm not, it's kind of like Filmic Pro, where like it works, it's a good product. It's just, they just rub me the wrong way. Yeah, pretty sure I've mentioned it at some point on a past live stream, but I don't know. I don't know if I can find it or if it's even a good rant. I was just looking through my chapter search. If you fun thing you can do is once I do actually add timestamps to my streams, you can go back and search through timestamps to find any time I've made a chapter marker in a live stream. So times I mentioned NDI during live streams, it might have been this one when I talk about NDI versus SRT. It apparently also thought ending is NDI, so it's not a very good search. Oh, here's another SRT versus NDI. Yeah. Anyway, you can go back and find those if you are curious. Clear Life Media says, just bought the GL iNet AXT1800 after watching a Doug Johnson video, and I'm excited to use it. Comes today. Oh, very fun. I don't know what that particular one is. AXT1800. I've used a lot of GL iNet stuff, but not. Oh, that's just like the long version of Slate. Okay, yeah, this is a great one. This little one. I have the like older version of this. But this is great. Yeah, Wi-Fi 6, 3 Ethernet ports. These things are great. A lot of fun. You can do all sorts of fun stuff with them. Peter Dams coming in with the thumbs up. Thank you. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Bill says the new HD8 ISO can take a remote feed over Ethernet, so a firmware update might enable it to accept 2110 IP. That, if anything, would get it in a firmware update. It would be the newest ATEMs. I don't think the ATEM Minis would ever do that, but just because those were so long ago that they probably weren't even planning on 2110 when they were designing the ATEM Minis. But yeah, the new HD8 ISO accepts an RTMP feed over Ethernet like a streaming bridge. So it's using the same things that they've built the streaming bridge with. It's possible that a firmware upgrade could enable it to accept 2110 IP. The other reason I would say that one would be the one that would be likely to do it is because it does have a network switch in it, basically. So it's actually got quite a lot of network bandwidth in there. Most of these only have one Ethernet port, but if you look at the HG8 ISO, there's where's the picture of the back? Yeah, there's a 4-port Ethernet switch inside, essentially. Is that gigabit or okay? Yeah, gigabit, not 10 gig. But the 2110 video is very high bandwidth, so I don't think you could get 8 in on a gigabit connection, whereas you could actually get 8 RTMP feeds in over gigabit. So we'll see. We'll see. 91 watching, but only 11 likes. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah. Okay. We are coming up on the end of or we passed the end of the hour, coming up on 90 minutes, which we're going to wrap up before 90 minutes today. And yeah, I'm actually curious if anybody has noticed, 29 now, better. Thank you. Thank you very much. I am curious if anybody has noticed an improvement in the echo sounds in my studio, because I put up some curtains last week, and it made a ton of difference just to how I hear my own voice in here. This is the curtains hanging, and even though they're not fully closed, it makes a ton of difference of a sound not bouncing around. And I think it sounds a lot better on the stream too. So I'm curious if anybody noticed that. You'll also hear that in the recent videos that I've filmed, although I think I've only filmed one so far. Thumbs up. Thanks. Philip says, while we're talking about Blackmagic's new IP2110, do you know if you can directly connect 2 of their 3G IP 2110 converters at either end of an Ethernet cable, or do they need a switch in between? Ooh, I don't know that, actually. I don't know for sure. I'm assuming they do work directly because almost nothing has required, almost everything in the last like 10 years or more has worked fine auto negotiating without a switch in between. The curtains make the studio look smaller. They do. They definitely do. It's essentially a square now with the curtains, because that's like 8 feet over there, or 6 feet or so. And one of the reasons I did that, I actually didn't do it for the sound. I did it because on that side I have my desk, and the desk is like where I do meetings at, like for the office for my job, and the camera is pointing this way, looking at this giant pile of things, which looks ridiculous as the background of work Zoom calls. So, and blurring the background doesn't work very well because you still see a lot of things, and it also can't distinguish the top of my head very well. So, I was like, I need to put up a curtain, and then the only way to do it was to run a rod across the whole ceiling, it's like hanging across the whole ceiling. And it also gives me a spot to put curtains over by that door, which is nice, because then if I have the door open, you can't like see directly into the studio anymore. So, yeah. Turning Point Communications says, I thought something was different with the audio. Good, I'm glad to hear it. I totally forgot that was like going to be a side benefit of hanging curtains. But yeah. Oh, another question. I was wondering, how is the quality of the video recording from the Yolobox Pro? It's okay. I'm not going to say it's definitely not as good as like Atomos or Blackmagic HDMI recorder, but it's okay. It's basically the same thing that you're going to get out of the stream, so it's fine for most things. But you will, if you need a crisp, high quality like no frame skips ever recording, then you should do it with a dedicated HDMI recorder. Should have used the green curtain, then you could have been anywhere you wanted. I did think about that, but I just didn't want that much green in my life. MJ says, thank you for the info and discourse. Well, thank you for joining. Cool. Okay. Well, before we wrap up, just again, quick reminder on new product at the PK1 store. The link is on pk1.tv. Why didn't that button work? I have to drop this in manually. There it is. On pk1.tv, and you can upload your own artwork to this. Oh, I should tell you how this actually works. If I go grab, let me see if I have a folder of, yeah. If I grab my artwork, I can put it in, let's put in the right one. It'll give you a little rendering of it. You can do the transmitter there. And it'll actually, if you give it something that's not a square, it'll actually crop it to square. So you can give it like a whatever size and it'll make it the right size, and you can download it here. Download this and then upload that, and it'll be the exact right size for the store when they print it. But it's fun. You can go and try out different graphics. Make sure that it's gonna work with the little cutout for the screen so it lines up right. And we do have a template here. You can download this PSD template, open it in Photoshop. I tried making it in Affinity Photo, and Affinity Photo did not generate a good PSD file. So I had to go use Photoshop itself. That'll give you the cut line and the cutout for the screen, so you can line things up right before you upload it. It's kind of fun, cute little tool. And then, yeah, download that and then upload it with your order when you go buy it. The store links are here, and there's a little upload section. Upload, there it is. Drag and drop the file here. Oh, I should also mention, there's one more variation. If you don't want your own artwork, there's also just a blank sticker. So this is what the stickers look like. Let's see if I can get the focus to work again. There we go. So they are like, it kind of looks like a carbon fiber material, but it's obviously a sticker. So if you don't want your own artwork, but you still want to cover up the RØDE logo, this is a good option. Asher says, is there an ATEM switcher I can still get that has both HDMI and SDI? Like current generation, I don't think so. You can almost certainly find used ones. But I don't think any of the current generations have a mix. ATEM Minis are all one or the other. These are all SDI. There's Constellations, which are all SDI. Panels. These are all SDI. There was one that looked like the panel. It was the old version of the switcher. And it had a mix, but it looks like that's not current anymore. So there's a couple models, but you're going to have to go and track them down on eBay or whatever. Which is kind of frustrating. Really frustrating that this should have been that line. They should have had just a couple HDMIs in there and 12 inputs. Yeah. All right. Yeah, old TV studio. I'm going to sell mine, so if you want it. I don't think it's on my store right now, but I'll put it there soon because I don't think I need it anymore. The the shop here. I've got all sorts of fun stuff in the shop, like the merch. Oh, I have a new shirt which I'm gonna wear next week, hopefully. It just showed up last night. But yeah, I'll put my ATEM television studio up there. I was using it for this live stream before I had the Constellation because it was a good combo. That plus the ATEM Mini Extreme actually was a nice combo. Essentially, I was using it for the SDI inputs for graphics. And the downside of the old TV studio is it doesn't have the frame rate converters, so you have to make sure everything matches exactly, which is annoying. But yeah, pick a format and then converters as needed. Pretty much is what you have to do, which is annoying because the converters are not like, they're not even rack mount. Like I want Blackmagic to make a third or half rack size or even full rack width of just converters. Just give me a bunch of HDMI and SDIs, put the little micro converters into a rack form factor. Yeah. Oh, Dave has a great idea. This is a great way to wrap this up. In the future, could you do a best practice of how to live stream from outdoors via H.265 in a bonded 5G environment into YouTube? I love it. It is very soon going to be summer in Portland, and that means riding bikes outside. So hopefully going to do a bunch of live streams of bike rides again this summer. It was fun last summer doing that. I did one with the Yolobox Pro. I might try to get some new kinds of gear in here to do some tests with. And I am very curious in seeing what I can do with H.265 and also network bonding. So we'll see if we can get some more gear in here to do some tests. And yeah, keep an eye on that. Adam says ATEM 1ME Production Studio 4K has one HDMI input. That's the one I was thinking. B&H still sells the 4K Production Studio line, and they have one HDMI in. Not ideal, but it is something. Yep. Okay, at least B&H still sells it. All right. With that, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for all the questions. Oh, MJ, we're at the end, but I have a studio tour video, and I also have a video about how I got all these cameras. Search my channel for BGH1, and you will find that. Oh, and I did a live stream about it actually when I got them. So here you go. Thanks for joining. Thanks for all the questions. See you again next week, same time, same place. I don't think I have anything happening that would not be true. So it'll be hopefully not 90 degrees outside next week, but we will find out. And yeah, let me know if you buy the microphones. I want to see photos on Instagram, so tag me on Instagram if you get these. Always fun. All right, thanks everybody. See you later.